Hey, good morning. Sure does help to have the mic plugged into the right device, doesn't it? Gonna go through a little routine here. Network, back. Phone, back. Ah. All right. We get a browser window open so I can actually see what's going on. And then I think we'll be ready. Today's gonna be, let's see, what are we gonna do today? I wanna look at the APIs, the C APIs. Let's see, where'd it go? Where is it? Here. I asked a question about why certain pieces are the way they are. If we can find it, it's just before this. Wow, lots of conversations yesterday. There we go. In GD native Rust, or the system APIs such as NoTD set global scale, find in method bindings, and then used in one place in bindings types. The reason I ask this is because I wanted to know kind of how to fix this other bug, right? Or not bug, but task of making these things not public. And they have to be public, this No2D set global scale, because these things are in different crates. Are they in different crates? No, they're not in different crates. They're in the same crate. But they're only used in one place, so I wanted to figure out why this was going on. And the response, much further down, there we go. And that way, since the start, probably because bindings used to be separated into multiple crates by topic. And somebody used these code cross crate was needed. We've since the sensible thing and stopped doing that. Okay. I think that might give a little bit of leeway to changing it up. So I don't know if you've ever heard the story. There's a story about why things are the way they are. And so the reason that things are the way they are, there's a neat little story about this, and um, it goes a little bit like this. And I tell this at places where I've been there for a while, and then you get new hires, and they come on, and they're like, "Hey, why is this like this?" I ask, "Have you heard the story about the room, the ladder, the monkey, and the banana?" And there's this room. It's perfectly round, right? And you put a ladder right in the middle of it, right in the middle, right? Just a little A-frame ladder. And then on top of that, you put a banana, and you introduce the first monkey into the room. And the monkey's kind of curious, wanders around for a bit. It's like, hey, looks around and eventually gets hungry and senses the banana, smells it or whatever, sees it, and climbs the ladder. But as soon as the monkey touches the ladder, freezing cold water sprays out from everywhere around the room, and the monkey doesn't like that. A little bit later, he gets hungry again and he goes for the banana. And he goes for the banana, touches the ladder, freezing cold water again. Well, after a little bit of this, the monkey decides that he's not going to have the banana. And they introduce monkey number 2 to the room. And monkey number 2 kind of goes through the same stages, a little bit of exploration, says hi to monkey number 1, they do a little fist bump or whatever, and well, starts to get hungry, right? And well, sees a banana out there, and monkey number 2, second monkey goes for the banana. As soon as monkey number 2 touches the ladder, freezing cold water everywhere from all the walls, the ceilings, everywhere. Just hits the room. Electric shocks, yeah. And well, they introduce monkey number 3 to this, and as soon as monkey number 3 goes for the banana, right, before he can actually touch the ladder, first 2 monkeys actually beat him, right? And then they start to remove, the first and the second monkey while introducing new monkeys, and all the new monkeys basically learn that whenever you go for the banana, you beat that monkey, you beat him up, and that is a story of why things are the way they are here at Acme Incorporated. So don't touch the ladder. Don't go for the banana. Hey, good morning. 75209, Cat Peasant. How y'all doing? Yeah, sorry I had to run off early yesterday. Man, yesterday you heard it with electric shocks. Yeah. Yesterday my wife had an allergic reaction to something. I had to take her to the hospital. We actually have bees. And she got stung a couple times, which is, well, quite frankly, normal for her. And a little while later, like, yeah, she's fine. She's just a little swollen from the bee stings. But the reaction though was we, my wife and I, we think it's from Benadryl. She took some Benadryl. The moral of the story is don't be the monkey in the cage. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Sometimes those monkeys get paid pretty well. Anyhow, but so she had gotten stung 3 times, and in the way that she does it, she neglected. She's just the bees are usually pretty good with her, and while I've never been stung, um, she will do things that I am ultra cautious, whatever, and they can sense your pheromones and when you get like anxious and all that. So I treat it as like one of those sort of mind over matter things, you know, be calm, be clear. An allergic reaction to a mosquito bite. Wow. Oh, that's crazy. You've been enjoying learning We're watching Raimu learn Rust? Yeah. I missed yesterday. I so wanted to watch him yesterday. All this stuff went on. So she had the 3 bites, or 3 stings, right? One on the side of her head. Fine. The best one was when she got it right between the eyes. I mean, it was good that she didn't get it in the eyes, but hmm, that was funny. And yeah, and so normally she'll take a children's Benadryl, and she's fine with it. But she took adult Benadryl yesterday, and that she just, hands, feet, her throat started to get itchy. Her face was a little blotchy. Yeah, it was bad. So we ran to the hospital, and they're like, "Yeah, it's from the bee stings." I don't know. Bee stings, they get into you like right away. And she had like a good half hour, maybe 40 minutes before she actually took the Benadryl. And then within 5 minutes of taking the Benadryl, excuse me, I didn't get the mute button fast enough. Um, it was, yeah, she was starting to swell up within 5 minutes of the Benadryl, which was taken orally. And that seems about, the right timing for that. So, I don't know. And good morning, Rust Compiler. Good to have you here because we're going to have lots of questions. So, I've been looking at this here, and I mean, maybe I should come back to it, but I know there's like a one little fix on a PR that we have yesterday. I think that they would like. So let's take a look at the PR real quick. Was this one? Yeah, there was one thing I still need to do. Yeah, fix some of these things. Yeah, I'd found decouple, and I fixed some of the examples with decouple because uh, map didn't exist on HUD anymore because map only exists for things that are now rough counted. Yeah, and Toasty is saying use map alias. That's fine. That's cool. We can do that. First, though, I want to try to understand a little bit more of what's going on here. This is some of the generated code. In this generated code, what's actually going on? So, where are we? Init. What are we in the init of? Oh yeah, 2D method table. Yeah, I wanted something that's pretty high up in the kind of OO scene graph that is Godot. So here we have node 2D, and this is its method table. Why? Let's just ask some of the basic questions, like all the why is it plugged in or is it plugged in sort of questions. Why do we have a method table? Right? It looks like it's got this method bind. Okay, just some sort of function definition for this. And it looks like we have one of these for every single one of the methods. That's cool. Well, each one of the methods on that object. Why do we separate them by object? Right? Why don't we just have some giant table of all methods for all of these functions? Here we can say get mutable. And this gives us a table of our own kind. I guess this could be self, couldn't it? We construct it. Method 2D method, or node 2D method table. Yeah, this is self, isn't it? All right. With no constructor, yada yada. Why this way? All right, and then we scroll down. unchecked get, here's get, and in this case, this get, we get the mutable one, call once, get that. Ooh, and what is once coming from? I'm gonna set a marker here on like 103,923. Let's see what once is. Oh, it's not in here. Okay. That's gonna be in here somewhere. DNA, of course. I think we're in bindings. So in this case, we use, oh, standard sync once. That's new to me. Useful for one-time initialization for FFI or related functionality. Got it. All right, so that seems exactly what it's used for. Call once. This method will block the calling thread if another initialization routine is currently running. Okay, so it is send and sync also. Well, that's neat. So I have this once. We do a call once on it. That's really neat. But why is it inside this get? Why does it have to be in here? All right. Then what's that going to call? That's going to call the init, which is down here, which is an inline never. And in this case, we start asking the API, like the Godot API, for methods on said class. The one thing that I notice is that as you start to use these scene graph objects like node2d, if you call any of the methods on it, like apply scale, the first thing that we have to do is call this get API function. I think is defined, yeah, over here, which means we have this Godot API as ref unwrap URLs. So we're doing that, or we abort, right? And this, if we look, gets initialized up here. I wonder why they didn't use once here. Oh, because they want to be able to unset it? Why is that even a thing? After you do the binding, why would you ever undo it? Who uses this? Oh, in macros? I see Godot GD native terminate. Okay, well, let's go back. So in this case, it's not a once because they actually want to be able to unset it. I kind of get that. I kind of don't. Like, why is this useful for testing? What is it useful for? Why? Okay, let's keep going back though. So, oh, was that too far? Almost there. Oh, where were we? We were over here. So we ended up getting this get API thing, right? So that's gonna have to get an option, unwrap it, whenever we want to call scale, right? So every call to scale is going through this. And then we get the function off of the method table 2D. So in this case, we pass that into get, and then we call apply scale. Now, node 2D method table get, that was that function that we saw earlier, right here. Then we get the mutable thing. So what are we doing? We're constructing this get mutable. Oh, this is a static table. So I haven't seen so much static being used inside of functions. There's something there. Now, what does this actually do? So static, it's mutable. That means it's always going to be here. Now we can mutate the same one. Does this work across threads? What if we had two threads calling scale at the same time? Would this actually work? All right, so we get the same object. We might set it up, and then we return a table. So there's a lot of kind of ceremony here. Okay, and that was just to call the get. Then we actually get the function. So we've gone and gotten two things. The API thing, which only gets used the first time. Then we have to get this other static table. Then we create up some argument list, put our ratio in there, and ratio const, yada yada. We get a return value, set up some space for it. And then we drop ratio. Why do we drop ratio? All right, how do we avoid this here? These three lines. Well, the middle one doesn't really count. It's just empty. But is there a way to do this such that, well, actually, hold on. Okay, let's think about this. We did see over here someplace function get API. We can see if it's something, if it's not something. But we did see that there was this ability to clean it up. What is the point of cleaning it up if that doesn't drop the function pointers? But at this point, let's see, create tag type cleanup. That do it does nothing. Perform this and muted type tag. Type tags implemented as transmute. This is faster on 64-bit targets and require no allocation. Create, check, and clean up. Nothing. So when we do this clean up internal state, are these function pointers in this actually released? We allocated all these. Is there anything that actually gets rid of them? Because it seems like we're getting rid of the main API one, but if we're not getting rid of all of these other ones, what's the point? Yeah, this is behind it once. We get mutable. Is get mutable called from anywhere else? Because this unchecked get would give it, or yeah, and that's the next API. Okay, so it looks like there's half, like it's half set up for the teardown. And I don't think the teardown's particularly useful. It almost feels as though we shouldn't have the teardown because we can't get rid of everything, particularly this stuff. So is there a way instead to do this initialization not when we actually start to use these different classes, but maybe at the beginning where the library initializes? I mean, how many API calls would that be? Shall we find out? In this file. Hey, Super Fortnite guy, how's it going? Nearly 8,000 calls. That's actually not that bad. Right? The library initializes, just get all of them instead of worrying about this. I wonder if we could actually simplify the code. Why not just have one gigantic table at the very beginning? Fetch all the API functions, and all the function pointers basically. Because if we had all the function pointers, we wouldn't have to call this get API or that. It would just exist, meaning that we could go straight to argumentless creation and invocation. Oh, just clean up the house before your mom wakes up. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Well, kudos, man. Not all kids do that. And I say kids in general. I'm like in my 40s, so anybody that's like 35 or below is just a kid. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, well, let's see. Where's this one? I'm slowly turning into this guy with a beard. Oh, it's a nickel. Here's a nickel. Get yourself a better computer. Yeah, this is 1995. So, quarter's probably about right these days. I love that one. Ah. Oh, that's cool. Watch some YouTube. Yeah. Let's get back to the code. So I want to experiment, and maybe y'all will have some ideas on a better way to do this. I'm not particularly fond of this whole get thing. I don't think that we actually need a Node2D method table. Because then all we end up doing is having these functions here, which then go and get things. I would rather, if we did need to have basically these functions like this, I would rather say have some sort of static here, like that once thing, right? So here, let's go back just a little bit. Where was once being used? Once was being used over here. No, not there. It was here. Oh, does this just protect you from setting it up once, right? So in this case, let's say we didn't want to do this per function, or excuse me, per class, but let's say we wanted to do this per function. Because if we could do this per function, then it would be much more of a trickle, right? Like you wouldn't be making 7,000 API calls, or let's say whatever this is, 20 API calls whenever you first started. Actually, that's more than 20. That is 33. The first time you used Node2D, you end up doing that. It seems like you could do this slightly different, where you have some sort of once in here that does these things here. Now, let's say we wanted to get apply scale. Oops. Oh, come on. I can spell. Let's say we wanted to take that and do that here. What would be the downside? Right. So in this case, let's go get all the ingredients. I'm going to need something or a little type. We're gonna have some sort of type. We'll call it static apply scale. Oh, that didn't actually work. That copy didn't work. There we go. Static mutable. Let's say we did have this and that was its type. Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and write it. I don't care. This is some of the generated code, so I'm just kind of brainstorming. If anybody has like an idea on how to do this, please shout. I'm just kind of brainstorming on this today. Because I'm being the monkey going for the banana here. And later there will be a PR which says, you should have been beaten earlier and should not have gotten to the ladder. So, and I'll clip that little story later so everybody understands what I'm talking about. But yeah, we had story time earlier in the stream. You don't know anything. I don't know. I thought I saw you telling Raimu about Rust and stuff. I think we've got chat history that says otherwise. 715209. So I wonder what the cost of having a once is. Oh, those are okay. Well, I mean, not everybody knows the basics. I think that. I mean, you said you don't know anything. Not to nitpick here, but the basics in Rust are actually quite substantial. So give yourself some credit. All right. Is that going to be an issue, having 8,000 onces? Or do we have one once with the table that has 8,000 function calls like this? There's just so much ceremony here. Because this isn't even where this code is used. This code here, this node 2D apply scale, is used in one place elsewhere. Where was that? Open that file. All right, so let's just open this one. See, there it is, right there. Node 2D apply scale. To me, it seems like it would make a little bit more sense to kind of optimize from this point. Why is there even a function call here? Why isn't this other code here in that function? It's only called in one place. And I get the whole inline thing, but let's rethink this. I mean, inline is just a hint. Okay, let's say that this code, all this code, was just moved over here. That'd be like stage 1, right? We'd be able to get rid of some 8,000 wrapper functions here. I think that would be nice. And then, how do we get rid of this thing up here? There's all these get unchecked. Is this even used? Let's see, how would somebody actually use that? They would, oops, node 2D. Oh, there we go. Who uses this? Anybody use it over here? No. Just the generated code. All right. What's going on here? Oh, these are all the little wrapper functions. Okay. And here's the init, here's that. Oh, it's really not being used anywhere. It's just for the get stuff. All right, let's tear it all down. Let's have some fun. FFI stuff. We'll see if it just crashes my computer. It won't. It really won't. I mean, modern operating systems should protect me from myself in this, right? All right, my first inclination here is to try this out by having a gigantic table of things. I do not see the value in having so many structs in here. Well, they can't have 9,000 structs in here. Do they? Are there seriously 9,000 structs in here? Why are there so many? Yeah, which ones don't look like the other ones? We have the method tables. Oh, constructor. Yeah, okay. Nope. Alright, it might be smaller than I thought then, because... Yeah, let's do this not in here. Let's do this over here. Let's see, which file was this? Scroll slowly. There we go. I think it's dash F. Or just like a fixed string. Oh, 620 structs. Okay, so we might be able to get rid of 620 of those, which would be nice. Who knows, that might affect compile time, which would be good. And what about those functions? Let's search for this, see how many of those there actually are. Last I checked it, I don't believe my last check anymore. Came out to like 8,000. No, I don't believe you. Oh, that's class constructor. Okay, that's actually pretty accurate. That matched the other number. So 620 classes. I didn't realize I had copied the constructor one. I wanted to get the bind one. Where are we? Oh, Control Z there. Wow, that's a larger number. Yeah, a lot. Ah, because it's too much. Yeah. There's way too much there. Okay. Needs to be something with like a pub in it. Not the LUTs. Okay. Sanity check. Looks pretty good. And we could have just put a comma at the end, couldn't we? $15,000 still doesn't look right. Looks like we still want pub on there. Huh. Yeah, 8,000. All right. So if we had a structure with 8,000 functions in it, is the compiler gonna like it? Does Rust care about that? I mean, it seems like a lot to me. Is that actually a lot of functions to put in a table? Like big struct? Let's find out. Okay. I think we're going to be getting rid of this cleanup internal state bit. That really doesn't do anything. Neither does this tag cleanup. Does something actually extend? Does mod? All right, let's see if this breaks stuff. I get that going. Good, private 64. Good, because we're just gonna take this up. Performs library-wide cleanup during terminate. Okay, that means it's gonna be missing in terminate. Yeah, it's still blocking. I should have searched for that ahead of time. It's that. Not the first one, just these other two. Oh, what is this? We're in tag type. This is cleanup. Well, here's macros. And this is where the GD native terminate called. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. It wasn't really doing anything. Not recording. We're going to go back to tag type. Where's this actually called from? Boxed tag type. What are these modules? Oh, I see. So in this case, we have, or was the other one? We just, all right, so this one, 64, and we don't have to deallocate here. I see, so it actually is doing something, but what are these used for? Okay, we have a tag, we have a type ID. Where's this used? And in this case, we are going to be exporting box tag type or the transmute tag type, depending on the architecture. If it's 32-bit or 64, we get one or the other. And that's why these are actually named the same. Okay, I get it now. What is tags in this case? Who uses type tag? Godot native script set type tag. What? All right, let's go look and see what that is in the Godot API. Go engine. No. Carousel. This was a while back, wasn't it? 3.1 stable. What is set type tag? Is this something that's very, very specific to Godot? Wait, Godot engine. Carousel did some C stuff. We can get the type tag and we can set the type tag for something. Interesting. So where we're using this is there. Add maybe tool class. Was that the only place this is called? Yeah, it looks like it. So in this case, we're maybe adding a tool class. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so where's this called from? Two places. Add class. And then we maybe add tool class. Okay. Where's the other one? Oh, it's right there. And here we have add tool class. So one's true, one's false. What does this is tool do? Oh, I see. So if it is a tool, we do one thing. What is the other? It's either a registered tool class or not. I see, but in either case, we set a type tag on this. So we create a type tag for this class. This create function here, we take C, which is, well, T here. We look at the other one, transmute type tag. What's tag of? Oh, type ID. Oh, that comes from standard any. Interesting. Okay, so they're just using a type ID there. And then down below, I think we'll probably use the same thing, or up above. So in this case, try from unsafe base. I see. So we get the type tag. Null return none. So in this case, we check. And that just checks to see if it's actually a type that we registered. Right. Key in this case. Okay, so only where it's native class. Interesting. Okay. All right, so my previous assumption that cleanup actually did nothing isn't true. It only does nothing on 64-bit targets. And here on 32-bit targets, boxed tags. And it's only used when doing that cast. Interesting. Okay. All right. Go ahead and save that. A couple other files we have to undo. Edit that buffer. There we go. All right, so back over to private. Clean up internal state. So this tag type cleanup really does something. Wow. So this Godot API none thing is really what I was getting after. I don't think that actually helps us. Maybe an option. I wish they had annotate here. Gblam. I want to see when it was introduced. In 524. It's actually really, really recent. Huh. Top level hidden interface cleanup. Moved get API, get and cleanup state under private. Okay. I see. So there's a lot of moving, but maybe not a lot of. I guess probably some changing as well. But this is the one I'm interested in. Okay, so yeah, it was basically the same. There, it was still an option. So that didn't change. Okay, so let's play around with this. What if we change that to use once? Actually, once isn't going to give us much because option guards against that. Ah, okay, I didn't see that before. So in this case, once I'll do that, not exactly what we want. Really, it's just a guard. I wonder if having once would actually make this a little bit better. So once it would only be a guard to keep it from happening more than one time. All right, we're going to leave these as is, but we'll just use it once instead of using it all the time. Just want to try getting these so that they don't look like, well, with my changes, like this. What was it? I think it was like that. Oh, no. That wasn't there. Okay. So my goal in this is two different things. Reduce compile times and reduce function overhead call. Yeah. I don't want to have to get the API. There we go. Save that. This should just be known. We shouldn't have to go and get it. All right, so let's go and find the code that actually does all stamping out of this. Oh, what is it called? Is it method table? Search for that. Oh, gonna be name method table probably. All right, generate method table. And here we're given a class. I think we should change this so it's all classes. Let's validate some elements. Okay, calls this. And this is for the class bindings, not for all bindings. Is output method table only used in the bottom there? Oh, it is. Ooh, okay. I think I went too far. Oh, that's trades. Almost there. Wasn't far enough. That's called two places? They're really called in two places? Generate class. Generate bindings. All right, and generate bindings gets called from here. That ends up creating the bindings files. Generate class. Creates the core types, traits, and methods. Okay, so this is going to affect both of those. All right, let's just focus on the bindings first. It's too bad that these things are buried in here like this. Yeah, we might end up just getting rid of this and moving it into types. All right, I want to do this for all methods. I'm just going to comment this out for a bit. What does has underscore actually do? Has underscore. Interesting. Okay, whatever. Ah, I chose the wrong one. So here, generate bindings. Yeah, we're gonna push that down. Okay, so instead of output table like this in class underscore, okay, that underscore is gonna go away. It's going to have generate method table. It's going to be singular, output method table, and we want to give it probably API. Yeah, and then it'll figure out the rest. Generate method table. We're going to take the output. Okay, now we also need the API. What is the type of that? Is that the type of API? That might just work. Okay. What are we using for that? Generate a result. Okay. Toss those in here. All right, so we're going to have output. And it's r pound blah with more of that. Okay. Actually going to do that a couple times. Okay, so in this case, we're going to have like that. Let's generate this gigantic table of functions. It's going to be a method table instead of method table for everything. We'll just have one. Oh, interesting. Should this even be here? Yes, yes, it should. It should be okay. Toss that on there. What else do we need in here? Yeah, that'll be very, very similar. So in this case, we're getting the constructor at the top. So let's get our iteration of classes going. This was for class in classes. We're gonna do that. This. Oh, it is that. Okay. The constructor. We're not going to call it class constructor. We shall call it name class constructor. And then all of the functions below that. What about this has underscore bit? What is a lookup name? Has underscore. Okay, so lookup name. Where are we using lookup name? Oh. That's the name on the other side of the boundary, huh? Okay. That's fine. That comes later. All right. Hey, Jummit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, in is awesome. Iterators are just amazing in Rust. Iterators provide so much, such as that there. Well, they don't provide that, but in uses iterators here. There's methods there is probably something that's iterable. Right now for the methods. Just gonna snag that. Okay. Now in this case, we have a method name. But this method name, we also want prefixed with a class. Class name, method name. Okay. And then we're using class name. Yes, okay, good. We got those, and then down below, we impl that. And some of this is where we're really starting to make changes. Right. Those two actually go away for now. And we'll borrow those. Now here is old generate method table. Now inside of here, we did a couple of things. All right, let's start to remove things that we've already updated, or at least comment them out. We did that. Class constructor, we got the methods. Yeah, what's this? Oh, this is implementing the method table. So before we find the struct, now we're going to impl it. And in this case, we're basically doing the same thing as this with a lot less stuff in it. I'm going to put a marker down here. So marker B, then up here will be marker A. Jump from B to A much more quickly. Let's take this, go to A. We're just going to have one. We are not going to do this unsafe mute thing. I don't want that. Oh, do some of these not have a class constructor, and that's why this is none? I didn't recognize that when I... Oh, this is probably some of the FFI optimization stuff. I think if something can be in two states, there's a FFI option optimization, and none in this case is actually null for the FFI stuff. Okay, we'll see. Actually, how do we impl this? So in this case, we have that. Let's just initialize it once and be done with it. We have that. Maybe there's a static one. Yeah, we can basically do the same thing where we use a static table, a global static method table, and then have an init on it. Same sort of pattern, just reduce it down to 1 init. Chickens running across the yard. Yeah, well, where's my water? There it is. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So what are we going to put in that impl there? Is this going to be... Oh, yeah, that technically ended the previous one. I think I want like some pub function init, right? Init doesn't take self. I don't even want to get, I mean, does this even make sense? Why not just have some other function that's like, you know, find method table or load method table? So once we have this, we have that struct there. And we can toss a once on it. Where is it? Did I hit something else? So I think inside of something like this, we should just do all of the bindings for the table. Sure, it's going to be expensive. It'll be done once, it'll be protected. I think whatever the table is should be global, not kind of hidden away in some getter. All right, let's create that then. Static mutable. All right, so we'll have one of those. Am I hitting the wrong function? Oh no, that's it. Okay. I'm gonna change this. Find table. All right, so in this case, we're going to be going through pretty much the exact same thing as above. Is there anything else we need to take care of in here? Structure, class, methods. Oh, we have to skip free stuff. We're already doing that. All right, so here's for the class name. Let's snag this here. All right. Yep, it's going to be unsafe. All right, and where does lookup name come from? Didn't have that. We got class name, lookup name. All right, I see lookup name. Where is class name used? Or excuse me, name. Where's name? Maybe it was above. We have to do this for each one of the classes. All right, let's close this one. Double quotes, pound sign. Okay, that doesn't need anything in it. Close that right line. Question mark, done. Okay. Now we have for each one of the classes, same thing. Right line, we're going to give output. R pound quote. There we go. Quote pound. Question mark. All right, there we go. For whatever reason, that was really hard to do. Let's make sure the tabbing looks good. That's about the right amount of indentation there. All right, then we have the class name. We pass it in the lookup name. Then we say table.class constructor. This is going to be not like that. This is going to be class name. It's not fair. I want to use the same thing. Class name. There's a parameter there. We're also missing lookup name. All right, lookup name, class constructor, which I think is what we had before. Yep, name, class constructor. Let's call it class name to be consistent. Class name. Right, that one's not taking any findings. All right. Let me get rid of this. Okay, we'll close the unsafe block. There we go. Now we need lookup name. What's going on here? And lookup name is for the class itself. Interesting. Oh yeah, we already looked at that. That's right. Class lookup name. Oh, there it is. Cool. So that's for the constructor. And now for the methods. Where are we going here? Method table, yada yada. Ah, here. I think I'm not far enough down in this file. Which function am I in? Oh, that's the old one. Oh my goodness. Okay. I was in the wrong one. This one. Here we go. All right. It needs to be inside of that. All right, and that should bind. It's fine there. Okay. So what are we missing from the old one? Let's start to just delete these things. Okay, we got this. We have the class constructor. That's gone. Method declarations, or basically the methods in the struct. Those are done. Here's where we start to implement the method table. Oh, and this is where that struct had been, or kind of where was it? Not there. That's here. This is the code that actually generates this. Oh, interesting way of setting them to null. 0 as mutable pointer. Why didn't they do the same thing as none? Isn't that basically the same thing? Interesting that they do set it. All right, but I don't think we need to do that. And that's what this line is. Godot. Oh yeah, we've been busy. Actually, I'm kidding. This is generated code. That's generated code. This is the Godot API. So yeah, I'm actually trying to reduce it. So we'll see. I think that we can get away with a struct with 8,000 functions as members in there. Not impls, but as properties on the struct. Instead of having like just so much code generated, I think there's just a better way. Or at least a smaller way. Whether or not it's better, we'll find out. So in this case, we're gonna have a method table. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that because we're not gonna do that. All right, look up name. Already got that over. And yeah, that's just part of that declaration from before. Oh, it's all yellow now. Let's get rid of that. Yep, not doing that. This we're going to do in a different way. I do think it would be nice to have this basically protecting that load. So we're going to do that. So in here, when we start to, where's our unsafe block? Ah, here. We're going to put this stuff. Oh, can we just do unsafe here? Do unsafe over there. Won't do that. Put this down below. After all of our unsafe stuff. Okay. Hopefully we get the indentation right. Because this one thing, I had never seen this before. It's really neat. It provides, I think, thread safety and just simple FFI initialization. Well, really, that's all it is. But I can definitely see using it in other places. Actually not. I mean, this is really the case for it, isn't it? All right, so we have that. Generating some code here, class name, class constructor. So our class constructor here is, but we're not doing anything with this, are we? We actually want to say, what do I call it? Method table dot blah is equal to that. Okay. That's more correct. What else? Okay, so that's done. Init, that's what we've been working on. I think we already got this one. Godot get class constructor. Yeah, that's that. All right, got lost in the code. Yeah, this is the old one. And for the methods, skip free. We already do that. Yep, I think we got it. All right, let's see how that works. So after we have that stuff, we're going to need to bind method table. That's going to have to be done in some sort of like init or whatever. Above function bind method table. Is it in lib? No, that's going to be in. Ooh. So where does that go? That doesn't go into any of this. Let's pop over here for a bit. Let's go to the top. We want GD native init, I think. Declare endpoint init. Okay, what's the difference between these? Native script init and GD native init. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's go back. I think it's going to be more along the lines of go GD native init. GD native, yeah. Initialize the GD native API on startup. Have I ever worked on the Godot source code? I haven't. I've browsed it a bunch. I've looked for bugs in it, but I wouldn't say that I've worked on it. I mean, I've perused. Mostly because some of the documentation was lacking. All right, where's this declared? Okay. Create private. If not, create private bind API. What is this? What is bind API? Create private bind API. That's is that where we were? Is this in private? I don't think it is. No. What's in core? Core private bind API. Force the initialization of the method table of common types. This way we can assume that if the API object is alive, we can fetch the method of these types without checking for initialization. This is basically what I'm doing with the other stuff. What did I call it? Bind method table. Why does this actually use get API? Because provided it there. Oh, because some ended up owning it, which meant that it was there. You could have just used that there, but that's fine. Get API. Yeah, as ref, unwrap or else. Fine. I think we'll have to do the same thing. But also this is slightly different. Where is reference method table? Oh, what did I hit? Oh, I created a new terminal. All right. Where is reference method table? Is that one of the generated? Skin reference. Go back to the top. No, it's not in there. In core methods. Why does core methods get it, but binding methods doesn't? There's some filter that I didn't see before. Because this looks like it's the same thing, right? All right. We're just going to do that. We're going to say get API there. Done. I mean, it might be nice to actually have that on the thing. But I'm not making individual method tables for each type. All right. So back to, not there. Oh, where were we? Methods? Generate methods. Generate methods table. Okay. Oh, did that not? I lost the okay. There we go. Very method impl. That's correct. You are never used. I want to move you. Oh, interesting. So in this case, it would just be method table set script. I'm gonna undo that for a moment. It's a little bit of getting off track. Okay. Let's see what it actually looks like. We go into debug. Arm dash RF. All right, we'll close those. Wow. Okay. Lots of stuff in there. Where is it? I'm gonna take a peek. Now, how's it look? Got method table. Global constant constructor. Interesting. Okay, we got some extra spaces in here. Let's fix that. Maybe we could add some comments too. All right, method table. Don't need that. We have a new line here. Yeah, that got rid of one new line. I mean, so far that actually looks pretty nice. You got the constructor, then you have the methods, a bunch of those. Let's go up to the top, find the end, find method table. Okay, this, we don't need those extra spaces there. Yeah, or here. Okay. And this gets indented. We don't want that. This is for basically the methods. There's a constructor. This one needs to be. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? Oh, it's being created. There we go. Now we got that correct. That looks better. Okay. All right. I'm gonna make this look a little prettier, a little too wide for me. I'm gonna save this as a local, and probably the constructor one as a local. Okay. Oh, that needs to be over there. I mean, it's a little better, but yeah. Okay. There's that. Oh, can now find function bind method table and create in method in module create. Okay. Now where would that be? Or in private. I can't find that. And we're in core. The core doesn't have. Oh yes, because we were doing the other one. Well, generate bindings should have had it. And I think core also uses generate bindings. So if we go to core build, core methods should look a lot like this now. Oh, which one? Not that one. Okay, so let's figure out why are these things different. Here we're using GD native bindings generator. We call generate class. Right, that goes into this generate class, which has the same generate class bindings. Now this one's, wait, is this one different? Oh, we need it here. Okay. Yeah, okay, I get it now. In the bindings generator for, is it lib? We have this generate method table. Okay. Got it. So these are different. So this is GD native bindings generator. The other one is bindings generator. Bindings. Generate class bindings. Yeah, this is just generate class. Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to see it now. So we need something very similar over here. The method table comes in, generate class bindings. Yeah, and this is where they end up using the same thing. Generate class. So here we're in GD native core. Now we're in bindings generator. Why doesn't that work? I see, because here we're in methods. And if we go to bindings generator lib, oh, you know what? It's not going to hurt us if we move that function up a bunch. Class bindings. Not the best place for it, but hopefully it works. That wants it mutably. We give it the API. Okay. Yep. Looks like we're just unwrapping here. That means that we have 2 of these. We need to init both of them. Ah, yes, this one. Nope. First one? There it is. Okay, so this one now there. That's for GD native core. Do we even use bindings? What do we use bindings for? I mean, here we have the core types, core traits, core methods. Does this have things like node 2D? It does. Does it have things like OS? It does. All right. Core methods. Oh, unexpected closing delimiter. All right. Go back to our lib here. One too many? Which one's the one that's not needed? Oh, it's this one. Okay, so second from the bottom. And this one tabs out. Okay. That's better. Oh, it's freezing my computer. There we go. Vim's having to think about that now. When I say go to matching brace, I don't know. Yeah, that's taking a while. Actually, it's taking its sweet time. I guess that's a good thing. While it's doing that, I'm gonna have the last of my water and maybe pour some tea. How's everybody's week going? Oh, while we sit here and wait for a moment. Oh, it's gonna do it now. Okay. Um, One of my kids has been going through the build a roguelike tutorial from the um, RLTK creators, and it actually reminds me what they're doing of how I started coding when I was a kid. We ended up getting a Radio Shack Color Computer 3. That's kind of like a Trash 80, actually, similar. And I got this book that had the source code for like 100 games, and I just had to copy it in perfectly, and then the game worked. It was in like basic, I think. And I didn't really understand anything. And eventually, after copying some games in, you started to get the hang of it. And I copied games in a lot because, well, it didn't have memory that you could save to. I'd have to type the game in order to play it. We didn't have like an Atari or anything like that, so that's what I'd do. And I'd leave it on forever. If the power went out, oh goodness, oh that was a sad day. Maybe we should do two underscores between the class and the function. Provide a definition for the static. All right, do that. Far. Definition for the static is method table. Method table. Can I use default here? It doesn't extend from default. What is default going to be on all those functions? Okay, that's cheating a little bit, but so it gets initialized to something actually. All right. Let's see. Now for the naming. Hey, Ecton Dev, how are you? We're gonna do two underscores between the other, so it's a little bit more clear where one begins and the other ends. I'm playing around with redoing the FFI bindings in GD Native. Ah, look at what you want to try to do today. That's cool. All right. Potentially gonna switch. There. What are you using currently? Keeping yeah on the web app portion. I mean, the GD native stuff. I don't. I mean, there's some things that I want in this. Um, I want task number 390 to be done, and I would love for async to actually be in there. I mean, if those two things were done, I would be working on my game again. But those are currently above my pay grade, so I'm digging in until actually the 0.9 release, or see, your 2D render is fully async. Wrote a custom 2D render on top of a Create RGX. That's cool. That's really cool. All right, so in this case, we're going to create method table. This was for object. And just something like that should work. Maybe missing create method table? Is it in methods? Where is it? Yeah, method table's not there. GD native core. Is it private? It's not in private. Is it private? What's in private? All right, so here we create this core methods. Who loads that? Nobody? Healer? Include. It's called include. Yeah, oxymoron there, yeah. Hopefully you lost helping me out here. Well, I'm not far ahead of you, so I don't know. I've spent 10 hours, maybe 20 hours in the GD native Rust code, and I'm just starting to get it. But it's been interesting to see how the FFI code works in Rust. That's been neat. That's been neat seeing that. All right, that's an include. Like, what the heck? How does include actually work here? I think. Oh, this is generated. It's in generated. We're in generated. So if we go back here, where's generated? Okay, it is there. And create generated. We have everything there. Oh, okay. So what does include do in this case? Parses a file as an expression or an item according to the context. Using this macro is often a bad idea because if the file is parsed as an expression, it's going to be placed in the surrounding code unhygienically. Yeah. Copies it without any lexical analysis at all. But, yeah. uh, yeah, that's all it does. Okay. If it's doing that, then core methods gets pulled in, and core methods currently looks like this. Oh, it's not public. That's doc hidden though. Okay, let's fix that. That's in lib. All right, let's see. So now those are public, which means they're in generated, which is also exported here. Okay, so it's in create generated. Native. Where are we going with that? We're gonna go check. All right, it's cooking. I'm gonna drink some tea. So Oxon Dev, how'd you get into streaming? You learned a bit about the FFI stuff, yeah. Fmod bindings, wow. Loneliness, yeah. I actually do look forward to the community. It's been, I guess, unexpected. I'm very okay being kind of solitary, but I do like hanging out with everybody on the stream. It's been unexpected, but it is nice. Wow. That's going too fast. That's going really, really fast. No way for me to actually see it. I mean, it's going through each one of those lines, the core methods, and it's telling me something about default is not implemented for that. Which, okay, I get it. That kind of sucks. And the alternative is to use them as, I guess, have the thing be an option. It means that we set it once and we still have to keep unwrapping it all the time. Trying to avoid that. It really was. Is that still, it's still like building? Aborting due to 8,071 previous errors. Oh my goodness. Yeah, crack snuggles. Here we go, guys. All right, get comfy. Yeah, this Godot method bind thing though. All right, how do we do this? Is there a way that we can see? Part of me really doesn't want to have uh, basically that the default for this. I don't want to generate the default. I know we could generate the default in that the default for this that we were using before was just 0. We're using 0 on all of these things. I guess that's possible if you just go through and have a default for that. I found the same thing. You tend to cut out getting to the target. And, or, I said that backwards. A little Freudian slip there. What am I doing? I'm building a game. What am I actually doing? I'm working in FFI bindings. Hmm. Oh man. All right, so maybe we do another one of these that, uh, or can we? We can't impl default for that, can we? Is this R type? Sys Godot class constructor? What is that? If we can put default on that and say like, oh, you're 0 by default, then that simplifies this. You feel sheep is saying, yeah, building a multiplayer game engine when I'm working on CRUD stuff. Yep, I've been there twice or 3 times actually. Built my first CRUD interface for the MMO on ActX, changed it to Warp, and then decided to strip that out. I don't know. Oh, and then also for the that other game that kind of puttered out. I don't know. I was working with some people on it, and they just kind of puttered out. I think it was a neat idea though. All right, let's go find this. So where is sys? GD native sys lib. Sorry. I'm using Rust Analyzer. Let's search for the type. Uh-oh. Did I break it? Godot method bind. Oh, that's not it. Oh, type to struct. What is this? This is in Godot headers. I was hoping to find just like a type. Yeah, building a shared platform. I think that would be ideal. Get something that you build up on and, toss a couple games onto it. What is this? This is GD native API JSON. Oh, that was fast. Oh, there aren't many of them though. I'm looking for, say that there looks still wrong. Okay. Trying to figure out where this thing is actually declared. Jan.h. We don't use header files like that. Huh. Strange. Is it over here? I'm guessing that it's actually generated. Okay, there's that. How about type? Ah, type. Oh, API wrapper. Oh, okay. Wow. Is this all one line? It's all one line. All right, we're gonna save that and see if formatter can do anything with it. Nope. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. No way. All right, let's try the documentation. Let's go back here. GD native, yada yada. Okay, here we go. Modules, sys, method bind. Don't touch that. Okay, I get it, but show us what you are. All right, where is this? Don't touch that. Let's go find that. That's searchable. We can find that. Oh, interesting. Wow. Got it. Okay. That's not our stuff. Huh. All right, well, I just wanted to get that so I could add a default to it. Well, it's got a default for this. Why are they telling us that there is no default? I'll let it go for a little bit. There. The trait default is not implemented. Oh, for mutable pointer to that. Oh, of course. Okay. Fine. We'll do it the other way. There we go. Then lib. Really, it's just going to be a duplication of this. Okay. Rid of that. Right, and what they were doing before. Okay, so then we have to do a function default, turn self. There. Okay. Now inside of here, we have to do something for the constructor. Let's tab it in, get the tabbing right. Also, this .class constructor is 0. Trying to remember what they did before. In here, nope, wrong one. Not that one. Oh, not that one either. Okay, it's going to be in here. Yeah, 0 as, and then that type. Okay. 0 is mutable pointer to Godot method bind. Why is a constructor not a mutable pointer, actually? Constructor can be nunned out. Okay, so that's like none. All right, we need to tab that in. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. 0 as that. There we go. Close it, add some spacing. We have to close the function. There. Okay. Now, if we go to our bindings, we should have method table. And we implement default for it. See some unnecessary white space, they could do better. Yeah. All right, that's looking good. Cargo, check. Oh, unterminated raw string. Yes. Can it find it? No, it can't. Almost there. So many lines. Lots of stuff in there. Really. A lot of stuff. I should have gone the other way. But now I feel committed. I'm almost there. So I tell myself. Is it alphabetic? Or in the C's, if so? Camera. Oh, yeah, it looks alphabetic. Audio server. Area. Whoa. Okay. So it looks like that actually got rid of it. It's good. We're going to check. Hey, from 8,000 down to 58. Oh, and conflicting implementation, of course. Of course. All right, what else was going on? This one, bind method table. Actually, supposed to. Now, where's that get API? It does seem like we're doing something wrong there. There's default. Here's bind method table. And this one's supposed to take an API. Trying to find where they actually implement that. Oh, it was in methods, actually. It's methods. Let's take a peek. Init. See, so that it just takes the Godot API. Okay. That's for our generated code. Here. There we go. Now those values exist. There it is. Generated code. That could be outside the unsafe. Yeah. Tea time. Got that mint green tea today. Good stuff. All right. Filter resolve could not find method table in private. That's right. It's generated. What do you mean generated? No associated method item. Okay, well, we got a little further. Oh, are those not public? It is public. Underscore. Object. Set script. All right, let's look and see if that's in the generated code. Right there. Oh, because it's method table dot. We need the instance. That's it. Right. Generated method table dot object underscore is class. There we go. What do we need API for now? Ah, there. Okay. Couple more. Oops. Go through and change a number of these. Oh. It's not used. Right, generated method table reference underscore. With a dot. So used to that. Okay. Create generated method table dot unreference. Okay. All right. Init method. Or init-ref on reference method table. Good. All right, I'm gonna have to get going. I'm curious though, because this didn't fail. Why didn't those show up in here? Those are errors. Oh, core types. Yes, we didn't do the types yet. Perfect. Oh, what's this one? Global constants, class constructor. Yeah, no, okay, that we probably got wrong. Okay. Yeah, this should be more like self and have some other stuff in it. Okay, here's default. Self, we'll start self here. Toss that on there. Add that in. Add that in. I have to close self here. Oh, I think I forgot one of the curlies. There we go. There we go. Now we have self. That looks more accurate. All right, yeah. So now we have core type stuff. Get that stuff fixed out. No, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Are all of these in core types? I was expecting more, not 48. I was expecting a lot more. Maybe we just haven't gotten to that. All right, well, I think that's a good first step. Get status, get to add. Oh, check out the native master. Halsey findings. I want to do this, but I don't see yet. I want to go fetch first. Whatever. And that is a work in progress. Yeah. So the next piece in this is actually generate class. No, that's where generate class is called from. So in this case, we're generating class bindings. Right? We're not outputting to the method tables. Hey, cool. Yeah, look forward to it. Very cool. Streaming's nice. So what we had been doing down here, right? We basically just replaced generate method table. And here, generate method impl. This here, I'm going to actually move into the types because all the types are doing is, let me get rid of that. Okay. So in most cases, it's the traits. Where's the methods? We want the methods. So inside of here ends up being, oh, what actually is this? Here. it just calls the name. Like it's just a pass through to that other thing, and it's not useful. So I think this here is going to get modified. I don't think this is correct. Yeah. Where's namespace come from? Oh, it's empty? Oh, it used to be something, I see. So yeah, those other function implementation, I think, will come into this. That'll remove a large chunk of code. That'll be good. All right. I look forward to you streaming. I'll try to catch it. Gotta run. We're gonna raid CM Griffin. All right, Acton Dev. You too. Until next time. Bye bye. No, I just stopped.